Okay. So the theme tonight is love, because yesterday, and the genre is Yiddish, because yesterday was a minor Jewish holiday called Tu B'Av, which means the 15th day of the month of Av, which is what we have. We're in the 16th day right now. So yesterday, and it was a day in which, when Jews occupied primarily lived in Israel, a lot of people got engaged. They had a huge debutante ball, and everybody went and wanted to get married, and lots and lots of people got married. So we talk about the theme then, therefore, is love, or in Yiddish we say Libe, which is love. So when I'm thinking, what is it that I love that I could talk about would be the most poignant? So what I would say is Ich liebe Shabbos. I love the Shabbos, the Sabbath. And let me tell you what's behind it, the backstory about why it is that I love Shabbos so much. When I was 15 years old, I was exposed in mathematics class to number theory and learned for the first time about infinity and was really intrigued with infinity. I figured that if the concept of infinity is there, it could be reached. And so I went and thought, and as a 15-year-old, how is it possible to reach infinity? Must be, since this is a mathematical concept, the answer must be therefore in mathematics. I was in an AP Chem class, and we were discussing quantum mechanics. If anybody remembers delta G, delta H, delta H, delta S, and the teacher put out this equation, took up 3 blackboards, and after she got done explaining it, so I asked, why does it do that? And she started to explain the whole thing over again. I said, no, I got the equation, but what makes it do that? How come when you do this and do that, so it comes out cold, but if you do that and do this, it comes out hot? And her response was, that's just the way God made it. So now it suddenly dawned on me that science didn't have all the answers. And if I was going to reach this infinity, I was going to have to go look at religion. I was raised in a traditional Jewish house. What does the word traditional Jewish mean? It meant that whatever we did, we had to do in an absolute religious environment. But we didn't do anything. So I had a bar mitzvah, so I had a party, and after my bar mitzvah, I said goodbye to synagogue. And I knew because I went to 5 years of Hebrew school. Has anybody gone to Hebrew school over here? Yes. What did I learn in Hebrew school? That if you take a sharp pencil and you throw it straight up into the cork ceiling, it will stick. And it was my job to get them, since I was the biggest, to pull them out of the ceiling. That's what I learned in 5 years of my mother paying for me to learn about being Jewish. So I wasn't going to go investigate Judaism, didn't have it. So I started looking around and investigating different places. I hit the place of absolute authority, the school library, okay, the religion section. And it took out a book on Hinduism, meditation. It was all very well and good, but there was enough of my Jewish background and my monotheism that I couldn't get into 5,000 gods that died and gave birth, and have a new book every year to keep up with them. So, but in searching around, so I did settle on Buddhism. I have an oldest brother. My oldest brother, from 1969 to 1972, spent that time in a monastery in Thailand. And he had a 32-volume set of Buddhist material in English, and I went through it, and this was like, yes. Really got my teeth into it. And was also planning on following him, because I figured this is where you find infinity. Around that time, my grandmother passed away. And needed my Bubby to save. Bubby's a grandmother. And we lived in a 2-family house. My Bobby lived on the first floor, we lived on the second floor, we lived a half a block from the shul, from the synagogue. And my mother, being very conscientious, rented the apartment to somebody who was a Sabbath-observant person who would walk to synagogue, as is prescribed by Jewish law, and rented it out to a young couple. We became very, very close friends. Every Friday night, I would come home from working at the A&P, and he would be on his Friday night. We would sit and discuss philosophy for hours, all well into the night, Friday night. At one point, I said to him, to this young man, that you're talking in Hasidic philosophy, and I'm talking in Buddhist philosophy, and we're basically saying the same thing. And he said to me, well, if you and I are saying the same thing, why do you have to run off to Thailand to be a Buddhist? You could stay here. And it hit me. And I just looked at him, after 3 years of debating back and forth, I said to him, checkmate. You got me. You know how to say checkmate in Yiddish? Checkmate. That's the last one. Checkmate. Okay, so checkmate. So I started learning, and then there's a seminal work of Hasidic philosophy called the Tanya. And I know that if anything is written by anybody, it must have fallacies to it. And so I told him, listen, it's like any other thing, any other philosophy, it's got fallacies. So I started attending a class in Tanya, which was taught at the local synagogue a half a block away, by an erudite scholar of Hasidic philosophy, to learn how to argue with him, because I knew about Buddhist philosophy, but I didn't know about his philosophy. So I was going to find the fallacies in his philosophy. That was the reason why I started getting involved in this Judaism. And it happened that this is the end of 1975 at this point. I am 17 years old. The Crown Heights section of Brooklyn is the world center for the Lubavitch movement, the Hasidic movement there. They ran every year, at the end of that time, something called the Encounter Weekends, where people would go and spend the Sabbath, spend the Shabbos in Crown Heights, in the environment, and to see what this whole business is really all about. So this person said to me, this young man with whom I've been deliberating and debating with for 3 years now, said, spend the Shabbos, spend this time in Crown Heights, cost $25. I said, oh, he said, you put up the $25, if you don't like it, I'll pay you back. It's a win-win situation. Friday night, everybody was billeted in people's homes, and Friday night the phone began to ring. You know how to say phone in Yiddish? Phone. Anyway, so the phone, it's angeheiben, it's klingen, it's geklingt and geklingt and geklingt. 25 mal, 25 times the phone rang. Now I know from my buddy that if the phone keeps ringing, it's an emergency, you have to answer. So I'm gefragt, I said, "Got this answer? You're going to answer it?" And he said, "No. Phone's ringing. So there's no answering machines. They haven't been invented yet. The phone is just ringing." It was probably up to 40 times at this point. I said, "Are you going to answer it?" He said, "No." And I asked him, "So what if it's important?" And his response was, "What if it's not?" In that moment, I saw that he had reached infinity. Time didn't matter. The world didn't matter. And that's when I said, that's what I want. Das is das. I spent a week in yeshiva, and I tell people that it's 41 years. I've been a Shomer Shabbos. I've been keeping the Shabbos. And every week I look forward to keeping the Shabbos. And I can even go so far to say, as I never had a Shabbos that I didn't enjoy. And das ist für was ich liebe Shabbos. Thank you very much.